Are we on 2 lives? We're just checking, guys, before we carry on, that we haven't screwed up our big sew off link whilst I'm doing this sew along. So just bear with us before we start.
Number 1 stream is still going.
Number 1 stream is still going.
Fine, number 2 is there as
Number
well.
2, double trouble. Okay, great. Okay, welcome to the sew along for the Vera dress. That's what we're sewing today. I've got a top cut out. I can see currently there's just one person here. You're probably not sure. It's Rosie. If anyone's watching this live feed and you want to see us on the sew along, I'm going to be doing a sew along for the Vera dress now. Just decided to sandwich that in to today's sewing. Yeah, it wasn't enough, no. So this is the last of the series of sew alongs that I've done for the Vintage Dreaming ebook, and Vera is one of the patterns from that. She is nice and easy, so I've given myself an easier project today. Hi Nessa, hello. Oh, well done for making it over here. There's a lot of places that we are today, so trying to find the right spot. Hi Selena, hi. Let's see who's joining us here and where we've got people joining from before we go. Before we go live, I am not in anything related to the Vintage Dreaming ebook today. Unfortunately, I'm just in, well not unfortunately, but I'm in an Ultimate t-shirt and peggy trousers. And I haven't even got a mannequin of the Vera with me, but that was too much to be that organised. So. Hi Carmen in Canada, hello. Oh, Trish, you've been watching from 10. Oh, Canada's representing at the moment. Right, whilst we're seeing who's arriving, he was confused, sorry, two loads. 3 from Canada, oh, wonderful. Right, I am just going to cut some notches in whilst we're waiting. I can't cut notches with those, that just does not feel right. So I'm just, hello in Kent. Hello, hello, hello. Just put my notches into this. I'm going to making the top. I'm going to make the version with the kind of fluted shorter sleeve. And I'm going to be just keeping it a simple collar. I'm not going to do a frill on the collar. Keep it super simple. I'm sorry about the background noise, but obviously everyone's having a nice chat as we hear the big sew off. So if the volume gets difficult to hear, then just let us know. Okay, there's a lot of notches on this. Right. Going to mark my dart and then we are good to start. So this is a bit of a selfish make actually, because I'm making this for me, whereas everything else I'm not making. Hi guys, I'm not making for me. Obviously I'm making everything for the big sew off. So got this one in here. Oh, you got it on your TV. Brilliant. Well, the wonders of modern technology. We weren't sure if YouTube was going to allow us to do 2 streamings, but it has. Right, let's get the start marked. Oh no. Okay. So, let's come in here, mark that. Okie dokie. Now I might make this up in a slightly different order, but it doesn't matter because it's all kind of all the different elements that come together. I think we start doing the facing as one, but you can do that. You know, you don't have to start with that. It doesn't really matter. So I'm still sorry, cutting notches. No, I haven't. I've got those done. Right, let's just take this off, and we will start with the bust starts, nice and easy. The Vera top's your favourite. I'm glad to see that. I think that it's the kind of the secret hero pattern of the ebook, in that it's really simple, but it's like so many options. It's very wearable and very versatile. Very versatile. There we go. I might just slide that across for someone to put some more notches in. Sorry. Just because otherwise I'm just going to spend the whole time for people watching me cut notches. Thanks, Rosie. Rosie is here, sat on the floor currently, but she is online answering any questions. Guys, if any of you have got any questions, this is a dedicated time when there will be somebody from Sewawa asking them. Links to fabrics and things will be coming up shortly. So I'm using, I want to say it's called Nightingale Grove, is that right? Yeah, Nightingale Grove, which is a lovely McElroy fabric. It's a crepe. I was slightly worried about using it because it is a polyester crepe, but because of the fluted sleeves, I feel like there'll be ventilation, so it'll be okay. And I'm not making a dress out of it. This is actually what we made Chantel's out of. She had this on as a dress, so yeah. Right, I marked one dart. I'm just going to mark the other one. No, Rosie doesn't have a cushion. So, we could get her a duvet though. She could just have a little... if you make Rosie too comfortable though, she might fall asleep, so... Now, treat her mean. Oh dear. Okay. So in the sewing, I've got lots of sewing people with me today. You'll have seen that on the other feed. But the wonderful thing about it is if you have a question, there's someone here to ask. It's great. All the sewing knowledge. Right, okay, we're done. We are going to start with the darts, the bust darts. So we're just going to place those right sides together, line up your notches. Sorry, Elisa Lex, about this.
What?
Me waffling around. You're going to
no,
be like,
no,
oh my
no,
gosh, there's a running commentary.
It's great. I'm
Elisa
learning.
Lex-
You're talking me through it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Elisa Lex just sat opposite me, and yeah, probably already sick of my voice.
Never.
Never. Okay, so just going to line up those two lines on the dart, making sure those are lining up lovely. And we are going to go straight in and do a bit of sewing. So you want to reverse at the start of your dart, but not at the point. Line up the pen line with the middle of the presser foot, with that little groove that you often have in your presser foot. And away we go. So if you wanted something slightly easier to work with, I would use a rayon. And if you're not doing the fluted sleeve, you could make this out of a cotton lawn, a really buttery, soft cotton lawn. Okay, so don't reverse at the end of the dart. What we're going to do is tie them together in a little knot. And I'll do my little special trick of pushing that down to there. Okay.
Never see you do that again.
Oh, I think I learnt this from ER. Because I once had, I didn't know where I learnt it from, but then I once had a surgeon in my sewing class, and she was like, oh, that's an Aberdeen knot. It's a sort of surgeon's technique.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, I've got to sew it
What
first.
should you
I'll
do the
tell
next
you.
one?
I'll tell
Great.
you.
Learning so much.
Learning so much. Even Elisa Lex is learning something from the sew along today.
Oh, I'm always learning.
Yeah, we're always learning. I'm actually hoping that today, sewing with everybody, we will be learning lots from each other. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you're ready, Elisa Lex. I am tying a knot in the two threads there.
Yeah.
Get it a little bit smaller. Oops, it's twisted. And then you put the pin in and you tighten it and you push the...
Oh, beautiful.
Ta-da!
Oh my God, that's
Sorry
incredible.
that you couldn't see that. I'm pretty sure there'll be something, a technique's on Stitch School somewhere, is it, Rosie?
Maybe we need to do a
Dedicated tying the knot. It's a little Lisa special, that one. Because it's probably in one of the longer masterclass videos on Stitch School, but yeah. Okay, I need to press these seams. Hopefully I won't melt the fabric, so just bear with. I'm just going to pop behind here and press this. I think it's not a seam, sorry, it's a dart. Just press that down. Now, this is annoying and bouncy and it doesn't want to be pressed. Lovely. That'll do. Okay, so now I am going to get my back pieces. This is so quick and easy, this, because there's just front, back, bodice, and sleeves and the facing. I'm not going to attempt to do it too quickly though, because I need to conserve my sewing energy. So we're just going to, we can join actually the shoulder seams.
Plenty of time.
Just line those up. There's no notches in the tops of the shoulder seams. It doesn't need to be because it's such a narrow little section. And there we go, over here. And there we go. So I've pinned my shoulder seams. I'm now going to stitch those. Seam allowance is 1.5 centimetres. 5/8 of an inch. There we go. And now I'm going to go, I need to trim those off, but I'll do that afterwards. So now I'm going to go on and just do the side seams. So always starting at the top and pinning down towards the bottom. Make sure that your dart, if you've got fabric like mine, it might not have pressed and behaved itself. So just press that down. Very good. Okay, one seam done. Let's just do one seam at a time, because often when you're working with lightweight crepe like this, it doesn't like to hold the pins and they often fall out. So I don't want to pin both sides and find that they're going to fall out. So there we go. Make sure you reverse at the beginning. I did. I just didn't notice that hard, but I did. There we go, one done, easy peasy. In a minute, we're going to have a top that we could try on. So speedy. So this is the easiest pattern that we've got in our ebook, and definitely one to start on if you're new to dressmaking. You want to start with this, because the fit will be much easier as well. So looser fit, less places that you're going to have to fit it. The only challenge is the fact that you would make this out of a drapey fabric rather than a cotton. Road pink thread. What's he doing? I do not know. Okay. So the next step I would do is overlock. I might actually, because I've got an overlocker sat there, I might just do it even though it's got the wrong colour thread on it. But this is only for me, so I don't mind. So we're going to whiz down those seams, overlock them, or zigzag with if you haven't got an overlocker, and then we'll move on to the facing or the sleeve. a bit boring, just bear with me. Okay, done. Right, so we have a facing to put on and we have a sleeve. The sleeve is like our eave, so I think I'll do the sleeve actually with you. Because it's a slightly unusual shape, it looks unusual, so let's do the sleeve together. Oops, just need to get those last two notches in. Make sure you cut your notches in your sleeve. The two pair of notches indicates the back of the sleeve. Okay. A hive of activity going on behind me. Lots of wonderful garments being made. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 rows of ease stitching in between, so these 2 notches. Okay? So, what pattern is Lisa's pants? It is Peggy. They are Peggy trousers. Peggy trousers. And I have to say, I haven't worn Peggy trousers for ages, and I'm really love wearing them. I was worried they weren't going to be very comfy today because they are made out of wool, these, but they're great. Okay, so make sure your 2 rows of gather stitching are within the seam allowance of, bless me, a 1.5, 5/8 of an inch. So I'm doing one at a centimetre and one at about 1.4. That's usually what I do. I don't know if I need to, no, I will need to hem this, okay. Just thinking to myself. So that's the E-stitching done. Much easier to put your E-stitching in when the sleeve is flat. And then we're going to join it together at the little short seam there, which is the underarm, undersleeve, the sleeve seam really, sits under the arm. Okay. Make sure you put your stitch length back onto normal. And we're going to do a little reverse at the beginning. And a reverse at the end. Then I'm going to overlock that, and whilst I'm there I am actually going to overlock the hem because then it's easier. You could actually hem this before you put it in, but I'll set it in with you guys, but I'm going to overlock it first because I'm on the overlocker. So just be careful when you are, if you are doing that, just overlock those 2 together first, and then just make sure that you allow them to kind of go to the back. So you'll just need to find the back, so find the 2 notches and make sure that seam allowance, when it gets overlocked in at the hem, is going towards the back. I'm trying to find my 2 notches to find the back, and I just noticed that I think that is the back there. Okay. Now you can of course do a double hem instead of doing that, but this is a bit of a cheat. It's a bit quicker just to do a single hem. Of course you can do a double if you want to. And then what we're going to do is just pull up these gather stitches. So just take 2 of the long tails and we're just going to pull those And let it gather up like so. And on there, like so.
I think so, don't I?
Okay. And then turn it right side round. I haven't done any pressing yet of the side seams, or the shoulder seams, but it's fine. I'm going to keep this inside out. Just make sure when you're coming to pin, if you haven't yet pressed it, that you make sure that the seam allowances are going towards the back. And I'm going to drop that sleeve in, just that side. Now you'll have a nice little sleeve head notch, so you can use that to line up with your shoulder seam at the top there. There it is. Fab. And then just use the other notches to line up as well. I would actually first go there and just do your underarm seam and your side seams. Get that lined up and then you can do the other notches. And the pinning from the sleeve side. It's always best to pin on the side where you're going to be easing. Just going to, excuse me, get a bit of grip on there because there's no grip on that. Oh, there's 70 of you joining. Oh, hi. Sorry, excuse me. Hello guys, hi. So today I was meant to be at my gardening course. It's the last day, but I've had to miss it because I am doing this. But they're all there at Capel Manor. So hello, thanks for watching. Can't believe you found it. Aww. And so what we're doing now, carrying on pinning, and so you can see there, that's the amount that I've got to ease away, I've got to get away, so I'm just going to make this nice and even.
I just wanted to hold it together. That's fine, I'm going to do one now.
And often what I find a nice way of doing that is using a pin. You use a pin and you just scrape the kind of gathering stitches with the sharp of the pin, point to the beginning. Like that. Let's bring it a bit clearer. I know it's getting a bit noisy, so let's bring it a bit nearer. Okay. There we are. It's getting really noisy. I can barely hear myself. Knew this was going to be a challenge, but never mind. Okay, so.
The side of the foot, maybe.
And
Like just line up your.
Oh yeah, sure.
sorry, I just realised this pin is in the wrong place.
Be sewing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because then you create a channel in between both lines of facing stitches.
I've just had to tell Elise Lex off. I don't think she understands what whispering is. It's hard to whisper though when there's a sewing machine going on and you can't hear anything. Okay, so we're starting at the this part of the body, underarm, there we go. And we're going to go round. And always make sure you're sewing that sleeve from the sleeve side so you can see what's happening with all your easing. And you can see if you need to adjust it. It's all good fun. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you think so, Sarah. get a real sense of the energy in this room, which is pretty amazing at the moment. Okay. Avoid getting any pleats in there, and ideally just easing that fabric in, keeping it from creating little pleats. And don't worry if it has created little pleats, you can just go back and unpick that section and then pop it back in again. It's really easy to do that. Re-sew it smoothly, just unpin the section and redistribute it again. There we go. I've realised I've been a bit lazy with all my trimming of my threads, and I've got like a mane of threads here. Try it on. You know I like to do this. I like to give you context of how we're getting on there. The speed at which we've been sewing for 25 minutes, and this is what we've created already. This is where I rip it as I try and get it on. Just anyone new to sewing wants to get an idea of the context. Have I put it on the right way around? Yes, I have. There we go. You know, we've got a top, it's forming. I'm probably not going to do this sew along for the whole hour, but I will, what I'll do, rather than do hemming with you, which is going to be annoying with this fabric and I'll just be by the iron, I might go on and do the facing now. So then we've done all the difficult things. Scores on the board as well, guys, if anyone is following and tracking our big sew off. We have so far, it's gone up again, we have so far raised £1,756, and it's only 3.5 hours in. Thank you very much, that is amazing. Thank you to everyone who has donated. That is just wonderful. Right, moving on to the facing. We're going to take the facing pieces. I need to make sure I'm getting the right one. That is the front. And we're going to place those right sides together at the shoulder seams. Okay. And then just those little short seams. And the same here. Right sides together. And then we're just going to stitch that in place. Now this construction of this is very, very similar to our shift dress really. Obviously the sleeve shape is different, but if you were watching this and you wanted to have a bit more, you're like, I can't see what she's doing, I need to see more closely. All that sort of thing is on Stitch School, and we do have a shift dress as part of our dressmaking masterclass, so you can see how to do all of this more clearly on there. Okay, so I'm just going to go and press my shoulder seams open now, and then we'll start to pin it onto the neckline. Talk amongst yourselves. That iron doesn't really work. Did you find your pattern?
No.
It could be. Okay. Right, so now we want to turn the blouse the right way round. Okay, and we're going to take the facing. Now ideally you want to overlock the facing before, but you can do it afterwards, which is what I'm going to do. So just going to pop that on here like this. Now, one thing I said I'd do, but we haven't done, as I'm pinning this, perfect opportunity to chat about the sewing bee. we said we were going to do that on this session because I didn't do a live last night because I was really trying to get to sleep early, but I did watch it. So anyone here who's watching this sew along now, did you watch the sewing bee? So it's going to be spoiler alerts on here. Oh, we've got no one watching the sewing bee, waiting for something to come through. I know there's always a bit of a delay. Yes, Sarah did. Wonderful. I'm just pinning the side seams here. Yes, Noelia did as well. Just pin the shoulder seams. You've enjoyed the shearing. I love the shearing. Yes, wonderful. Okay, we can chat then, guys. There's enough of us that watched it. So, loved that first dress. How nice was that first dress? And actually, as I'm sitting opposite Elisa Lex, I said I did really think of her. It's very her style. Lovely sheared bodice, full sleeve. Really like it. And I imagine that's going to come in the Sewing Bee book because I thought, I'm going to be able to. Just checking that's not twisted. Yeah, imagine that's going to be in the Sewing Bee book. So I really like that pattern. Really nice. Anyway, and I knew that, I can't remember her name, is it Brogan? Brogan, yeah. Brogan? Yeah, Brogan, thank you. I thought Brogan was going to win that because she loves those dresses. I mean, it was basically like a challenge just for her. And then I was pleasantly surprised by the customising challenge because I thought that often I don't like that one. It feels a bit naff. It is in the sewing book. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Yes, it feels a bit naff, that challenge, and but I thought that actually they were quite good. With a hammock, make a dress out of a hammock. There was a jacket, wasn't there? I can't remember his name, but one of the guys made a jacket. I thought that was actually the most innovative of all of them. But yeah, there was Brogan made another good thing on that as well. And then, sorry, just focusing on what I'm doing here. Just make sure that your V-neck points in your facing and in your bodice are matching. And then and then they had the kind of separates challenge, which I really was nice to see a bit of a separates challenge, trousers or shorts. Made it a bit different from a dress, didn't it? And there were some lovely things. I mean, Deborah's was my favourite. I did think that's so chic, very vintage vibes by the sea. Wish they'd had a beach ball for the model, but really liked that. And a really interesting design. And yeah, it's interesting though. In week 3, I'm already thinking, I don't know who's going to win because I thought maybe Marnie, but now I'm not so sure. So yeah. But I mean, she made a really nice, it was like sportswear separates, wasn't it? It was also really nice, but there's some really good people on it. Really good people. Yeah, Brogan separates was cool. It was like a Spanishy kind of little bralette thing, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was really good. I think the level of sewing is good. I do think, sorry guys, but the men are definitely not quite as up there as the women. And hence why... Was it Ricardo? I can't remember his name. Was it Richard? Anyone know? No? Okay. He was out. But I did think that was probably fair. His sewing wasn't as up to some of the others. But we will see. We will see what happens. Obviously, last year, a guy won it. So, So I'm just licking my hands just to try and get a bit of grip here. Try and get a little... Richie, thank you, Sarah. Ricardo, God. I knew it began with an R. There's a lot of names to learn and remember. I can't remember all of their names. I also really like is it Mei Lee? Is it Mei Lee? Another name I can't remember. I really liked her dress, and she looked like she had the Atelier Brunette gauzy fabric with the gold embroidered spots on it. I just thought that looked really nice. I'm not sure what the pattern was, but I was hoping someone was going to clock what that pattern was, and I'll be able to find it somewhere. Okay, we're ready to sew. It's a centimetre seam allowance, so we're just going to go round with a centimetre seam allowance. take the pins out as you get to them. Manyi, thank you. Yeah, I like her sense of style. I like how she dresses. And yeah, it made me think I'd quite like to make a dress for the autumn out of that fabric. Because normally I see that fabric, that Atelier Brunette fabric, and it's a bit gauzy and it's a bit creasy, but it looked really good, guys. Okay, needle goes down when you get to that V point. It's not a really strong V, but it's a slight V. So when you get down to it, then you want to put the needle in, and pivot at that point. I also quite liked what Esme was wearing last night. It was interesting. It's like a knotted tie thing. I think it's very hard to wear those tie knotted dresses at the front, but she pulled it off. I thought she looked really stylish. Okay, coming back to where we were. We have gone all the way around. Facing is on, and then we can just snip very carefully into that V. I'm just going to snip a little bit into there. We do need to understitch, so I'm not going to press. I am just going to clip into that just to allow that to release. And I'm clipping into it every couple centimetres. Okay, so when I understitch, what I do is I use the middle of the foot to sit on top of the seam that we're just stitched, and then I move my needle over, and that makes it easy to line up. So you're aiming for about 2 millimeters from the seam, and you're stitching on the facing side, and you are making sure that the seam allowance is getting stitched into the facing. So that it should be going on the facing side. So you can usually feel it underneath, so you don't need to press it. You might need to just keep checking and tucking it under if it's misbehaving. And what this does is it helps the facing stay in, but it also crisps up that whole neckline edge, which is really nice. Going little sections at a time. Back to the beginning, and there we go. So that will now need to be pressed in. threads coming. I think it's a bobbin. It's a pink bobbin inside my machine. It's just getting caught. So that will get pressed in, but already that's keeping that neckline nice and crisp. Okay, saliva gets it off. Okay, we've got an accident, a little bit of a drip of blood on from a pinprick on a garment. It's fine. If that ever happens to you, the best thing to get it off is your own saliva, because the enzymes in your saliva breaks down the blood. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for today because I've got a long haul ahead of me. I'm sorry that wasn't probably the most informative of sew-alongs, but hopefully it was still enjoyable. It's the last in the series of the sew-alongs that we are doing, but there will be lots more sew-alongs this year later on. Thank you for joining me though, guys. All the links will be popped in the description box if you're watching this live. Don't forget that you can head over to the other live stream, which is basically running constantly, still on, and watch us on the Big Sew Off for the rest of the day for another 20